know. I don't know.
I
Should
look
put my
like
hair up?
freaking Hillary Rodham Clinton right now. This is a problem.
No, you don't.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go. It's a new episode of Back in 10. In 3, 2, 10.
You always confuse me when you do that, Christopher.
The best leadership happens when you step away for 10 minutes.
This is Back in 10.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Back in 10. I'm Jen.
And I'm Savannah.
Your voice just has a different ring to it. I should be like, and I'm Jennifer. No, that's very odd. But anyways. No. Oh, we're having too much fun today. Well,
okay.
we
This is my
have a
favorite
really
topic.
interesting topic to go over today, Savannah.
I love it.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Okay. Leader, manager. Is there a difference?
Dun, dun, dun. Yes and no. and
Interesting.
we are going to explore that today.
Mhm.
For me, when I look at leadership versus managing, leadership, I think of vision, I think of motivation, I think of momentum, I think of growth. And when I look at managing, I think of operations, I think of maintenance, I think of education. And I don't think if you're running a practice as the office manager that you can have one without the other. I don't think you can do that, but you can be one or the other. I think our strongest leaders, office managers in the industry are both. I do.
Mhm.
That's not to say that you can't grow into having strong qualities of both to give yourself more confidence in running a dental practice. But Jen, what do you think of when you hear leader versus manager?
Yeah, I like how you worded that, right? Because managing, and I feel like that's how I wanted to be a leader, but I didn't really know how to. I think sometimes you have to learn that, especially if you are a team member that's moving into a leadership position. Like you got to kind of be in that messy middle for a while and kind of understand, like, how do I do this? We talked about that on a recent episode. Like, can you be friends with your team, right? But I think you have to be able to be a manager and measure things and look at metrics and operationally and project management, so many other things that go with it. But you also need to be a leader and be there for your team and to support your team and be a guide and a cheerleader and just like be a lifter. I think
Yeah.
that's, when you're a leader, like you're a lifter. I feel like when you're a manager, like sometimes you're in the weeds too much, I think. So if you can have an even balance of both of them, man, how impactful can
Super
that be?
impactful.
Yeah, because I think sometimes like if you're so deep in it and you are way down in those weeds, like you can't see things clearly at all either.
Right.
That's when you need to delegate. We just talked about that, recently. So, so important to have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our manager side focuses a lot on tasks, right? Because we can manage compliance, right? We can manage our team into compliance through clarity. But when it comes to leading our team, it's focusing on the team, focusing on the care of the team. And there are two questions that you can ask yourself when it comes to any situation in a practice or any conversation you're having with a team member. So, as a manager, you're asking what happened? What are the logistics of what happened? And as a leader, you're asking, well, why did it happen? And how do we stop it from happening again? Or how do we keep it happening again? Because that is going to promote form of momentum for the business, right? So you really do. It is a like black and white, left and right side brain focus of logistics and then creativity and inspiration,
Yeah,
I
great
think.
point.
I think.
Great point. Yeah. No, and it's important to understand where you are kind of in if you think of it like a
Yeah.
line, right? And there's manager on one side and leader on the
Yeah.
other. There are days that you're kind of tilting a little bit more to either side depending on what's going on, depending on your team, different times of the year, right? There's so many different things that go into it. But I think if you think of it like on a spectrum like that and kind of trying to figure out like where you fall, do you
Right.
want to be closer to one side than the other? So I think that's it's kind of a really cool thing to think about. Think about it that way too.
And look at your daily, your weekly, your monthly, your yearly of what you do for the practice and how you impact the practice. And I think it's a good exercise to do too, to look at your tasks, look at how you're managing your team, and then look at how you're leading your team. And if it's hard right now because you're on that gray area, don't think about the future, think about what you've done in the past. So past initiatives, past conversations, and that will help guide you into stronger leaderships for the practice and the business.
Right. Great
I mean,
point.
thanks. And like I spend a lot of time thinking about this, well, especially when I was in practice too, because we've all had someone manage the hell out of us in some point in our lives, right? And it's those micromanagers. And that's when people leave. That's when we can't retain our team. It's because
Mhm.
there it's a constant barrage of oversight.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a barrage of oversight, you have to make sure you're actually leading too.
Mhm.
It I mean, because people really they don't quit jobs, they quit because they don't have the leadership.
Yeah. And I think I've been there too. That's some of the challenges that I've had
Mm,
that you know, you have a plan, right?
mm,
There's a plan. Your leader, manager, whatever, your superior will say, right, has said, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we need to work on. And then you do it. And then it's like, well, did you do this? And why did you do that? And did you do that? And
mm,
it's not one, it doesn't feel good. So I'll tell leaders out there, like, don't. And I think the challenge is if you're in a private practice, and some of the leaders, like, they've never had a leader or a manager, right? Especially if they're a dentist, they might not have had, someone be their superior in the past, right? If they had a job or, beforehand, then yes, absolutely. But in that capacity, like working closely with them every single day, right? 9 hours a day, um, they might not have had a good example of what that looks like. So it definitely can be challenging and
mhm.
extremely frustrating. So on that
Yeah.
side of it, like don't micromanage your team. If you ask
Mm-mm.
them to do something, like just know that you hire them for a reason
Mhm.
and you've done training with them. Let them be. Let them do what you hired them to do and then support and guide, but don't be that micromanager that's over their
Mhm.
shoulder. Mm-mm.
No, and we understand that the managing side is what keeps that practice going and what keeps the business moving forward. But it when it all comes down to it, it's how the leadership will make or break whether your team is on side or they want to stay or leave, right?
Right. Mhm.
I feel like that, especially but I mean, even before I entered into a leadership position or became a manager, it was like, "Oh, it's like a compliance thing, right? I don't wanna like, I'll comply to a manager because those are my daily job functions, but, like, I wanna follow a leader. I wanna I wanna commit to a mission and follow that mission." So, when you're thinking about your managing style and your leadership style I mean, think about what kind of results do you want? If you want better results, stop managing harder and start leading more.
Mhm.
And find out what that means for you and your doc, and along with the mission of the practice.
There
That's
you
my 2
go.
cents. Those are my
There
2
you
cents.
go. Yeah, so I think we left a lot for people to think about with this episode,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
It's hard.
Well,
No one's perfect. Nobody is
no.
perfect. And if you
No.
are a stronger manager, that's okay. Guess what?
Yeah.
There's opportunities for growth there. Everyone is learning and growing how to survive in this big,
Mhm.
also tiny dental industry. So
Oh, goodness. Well, everyone have an awesome day. Go and be an amazing manager and a great leader to your team. You got this.
woo woo.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Back in 10.
If something made you laugh, nod, or feel a little more human, share it with a friend and make sure that you're subscribed.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Back in 10 Pod for more behind the scenes, updates, and probably a little chaos.
We're not here to have it all figured out. We're just here to tell you the things that we wish someone had told us.
And remind you that leadership doesn't have to be perfect, just real.
We'll be back in 10.